I'm in the process of rebranding my website, and some of the questions I get from people that want to rebrand their website is, well, I don't know how to choose colors for my site, or they just pick out a template or a theme or buy a template and just go with colors that they like. But did you know that the colors that you choose can greatly impact how people associate with your products? There's a psychological aspect to choosing colors, and then there's the technical aspect in how you implement that psychology. If you're a large company, for example a bank, you probably want to use a lot of blues. If you're trying to sell something or grab attention to a particular sale, yellow is an interesting color. Sometimes even red for final clearance sales. You've probably seen people use red. There are various tools you can use, but before we get into that, let's go to kissmetrics.com. And you can see that there's this infographic which is really cool, and well, they've mentioned over here that about 93% of people choose their products based on visual appearance alone. So there's the practical aspect, and then there's the visual aspect. This is why marketing is really important. And we're not going to get into all of that right now. We're just going to discuss color. And as you can see, I mentioned how banks and businesses use a lot of blues. Here's blue, and it mentions that over here. There's black. You see a lot of luxury websites using black. Now, this is the psychological aspect of choosing a color. And then there are some tools that will show you, that basically help you pick out colors. So once you know your color scheme, it's really nice to use something like Adobe Cooler. If you know of any other tools, I have a few in mind, but we'll start with Adobe Cooler. If you go to the Adobe Cooler website, just do a search for Adobe Cooler and you'll get to this site. You can explore most popular themes, or you can scroll down. You can explore most used themes. Okay, and then there's, what else? There should be, there's a website called Pictaculous. Now with this, you could basically choose your color scheme based on an image that you upload. So I'm not going to go in and upload an image right now, but you could upload an image and choose a color or a bunch of colors based on that image. They also have a really cool iPhone app, so it's worth looking at. Let's think about another one. There is Color Rotate. I think that's what it's called. And you could choose your colors. You could even go down here and check out some of the palettes. This is a very cool looking color scheme. There's this one. Now I've come up with my own color scheme, and this is kind of like what I've come up with at the moment. It may change as it evolves, but since I'm in the process of rebranding, this is what I've started with. Now remember I said there's the psychological aspect, and then I introduced you to some tools and you can use to choose colors. There's also the technical aspect, and how do you implement based on that psychology. So the first thing you want to do is create a dark background, and then a white background, and then a black background. This way you could look at those colors and say, hey, do these colors go well not just on a website, but what about promotional materials? like paper, like business cards, magazines. Would my ad stand out if I create an ad in all these different types of media? What about t-shirts? Now, something to think about, right? What if you had, for example, medical stand? This looks pretty cool. It's really great for a doctor's office. Now, would this look good on a business card? Would this look good on a website? Would it look good on a t-shirt? Something to think about, okay? So that's as far as the psychology behind colors. And once you decide the colors that you want, you can pop those colors into any of these tools. Looks like this one also has an iPad app worth looking at, and kind of go from there. Now, one of the other things that comes up is accessibility. Now, go to W3C. I'll just do colors. Now, most of the browsers today support pretty much all the colors. It's not like way back when we had to use only a limited amount of colors. But if you're curious about creating for accessibility, it's important to look at some of the guidelines and some of the basic colors that are available. Some people cannot see, I think it's red or green or one of those, and you could look into some of the guidelines for creating websites based on accessibility features. Now, the other thing you could also think about is, are you a business or are you an individual? Are you selling a product? Do you just have an informational website? Is your website related to a particular industry? Agriculture. Maybe you're a farmer that sells a particular kind of product, like a food product. What would be the color associated with that? Some of those things are, there's a lot of detail that goes into it, but these are some ideas and something to help you kind of take the next steps in creating and building out your brand guidelines and colors associated with your brand.